What's up, Guardians? Welcome to Schwille Gaming, where you can stay up to date with Destiny content. So we're 3 weeks into Season of the Witch, and I thought it's about time to talk about some seasonal weapons, specifically the new Strand Rocket launcher, the Semiotician. We did actually get our first ever Strand Rocket, the crowning duologue last season with Solstice of Heroes, and unfortunately it was received pretty poorly. So for you guys who are still on the hunt for a good Strand Rocket, I have good news for you. The Semiotician is actually pretty decent. It's nothing crazy, but it's a hell of a lot better than the last Strand Rocket we got, and it actually holds up against some other desirable legendary rockets too. Which brings me to my next point. We're going to do a damage test for the Semiotician, along with some other legendary rockets for comparison. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so today we'll be doing a damage test for rockets, and I'll also let you know where you can get these rockets from, as well as the perk pool available on them. The rockets we'll be testing are the before mentioned Semiotician, Hothead, Cold Comfort, Braytech Osprey, and the Apex Predator. These are all pretty solid rocket launchers that'll complement your builds, and the nice thing with this group of rockets is that they're all synergized to each subclass, so every rocket here is going to fit into your builds. Since this rocket is the subject of today's video, we'll cover the Semiotician first. As stated before, this is a brand new high impact frame Strand rocket launcher. You can acquire it from Season 22 activities or by focusing it at the ritual table in the helm, and it is craftable by acquiring 5 deep sight or red border versions of it. In the left hand column, it can roll with Impulse Amplifier, Shot Swap, Perpetual Motion, Wellspring, Stats for All, Keep Away, and Field Prep. And in the right hand column, it can roll with Explosive Light, Bipod, Hatchling, Pugilist, Harmony, Frenzy, and Danger Zone. As per all of my damage test videos, I'm using the first boss encounter of the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, Frisia. Keep in mind I'm using my basic rolls of these rockets to keep the playing field fair, so no bigger mags or damage boosting perks. I do this to try and get as fair a field test as possible. I'm using a well here, but since I use it for each rocket test, it still keeps the numbers pretty fair. After one phase of damage to Frisia, Semiotician did 702,702 damage. The next rocket we'll take a look at is Cold Comfort. This is a stasis aggressive frame rocket acquirable from the Ghost of the Deep dungeon. In the left hand column, it can roll with Tracking Module, Envious Assassin, Perpetual Motion, Impulse Amplifier, Shot Swap, and Ensemble. And in the right hand column, it can roll with Chill Clip, Bait and Switch, Explosive Light, Cluster Bomb, Bipod, and Collective Action. In one phase against Frisia, Cold Comfort dealt 710,212 damage. Up next we have the Braytech Osprey. This is a high impact frame Void rocket launcher, and you can get it from Vanguard activities. It's also available as an Adept reward when in rotation for Grandmasters. In the left hand column, it can roll with Field Prep, Pulse Monitor, Keep Away, Envious Assassin, Auto Loading Holster, and Cluster Bomb. And in the right hand column, it can roll with Lasting Impression, Frenzy, Chain Reaction, Golden Tricorn, Bipod, and Destabilizing Rounds. In one phase against Frisia, it dealt 602,434 damage. Up next we have the Apex Predator. This is an adaptive frame solar rocket launcher acquirable from the last Wish raid, and recently it was reworked to be craftable with some new perk combinations. In the left hand column, it can roll with Slideways, Reconstruction, Incandescent, Demolitionist, Danger Zone, Tracking Module, and Threat Detector. And in the right hand column, it can roll with Bait and Switch, Vorpal Weapon, Explosive Light, Bipod, Surrounded, Collective Action, and Frenzy. In one phase against Frisia, Apex Predator dealt 853,360 damage. Alright, and last and certainly not least, we have the Hothead. Hothead is an adaptive frame arc rocket launcher and is acquirable also from Vanguard Ops and has an Adept version as well. In the left hand column, it can roll with Auto Loading Holster, Impulse Amplifier, Demolitionist, Field Prep, Tracking Module, and Ensemble. And in the right hand column, it can roll with Lasting Impression, Adrenaline Junkie, Explosive Light, Thresh, Vorpal Weapon, and Clown Cartridge. In one phase against Frisia, Hothead dealt 734,055 damage. Alright, now that we've tested each rocket, let's crunch those numbers and see the results. In first place with the most damage, we have Apex Predator at 853,360 damage. Second place goes to the Hothead with 734,055 damage. Coming up in third, we have our Cold Comfort with 710,212 damage. In fourth comes our featured Semiotician at 702,702 damage. And in last, we have the Braytech Osprey with 602,434 damage. So Apex Predator smokes the competition by far, making it a great choice for big boss DPS. Especially if you have a teammate running Galley, you'll be able to crank out some pretty crazy damage. Our second, third, and fourth rockets were all actually fairly close, making them all viable DPS weapons, and proving the new Strand Semiotician is pretty good. I would have liked to see something like tracking, or chain reaction, or cluster bomb on this, but its perk pool is still pretty good with the likes of Impulse Amplifier and Explosive Light. And sadly, Braytech Osprey can't even compete with these other 4 rockets, so for a Void rocket, I'd probably rather use something like Red Herring. Alright guys, that is going to do it on today's rocket launcher damage test today. If you guys enjoyed the video or found it informative, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to keep getting Destiny content. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday for our current story updates. As always, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.